Hi, welcome to today's piano tutorial on Chopin's blissful poetic masterpiece, his Nocturne in D flat major, opus 27, number 2. My name's Louise and I've been playing the piano for more than 40 years. I've studied with some of the world's most eminent teachers, and today I'm going to pass on to you tips on interpretation, performance and understanding the music, and hopefully scratching beneath the surface of the notes so that we can understand Chopin's intentions just a little bit more. 1836, the year Chopin composed this nocturne, was a year of love for Chopin. He fell in love with Maria, the daughter of a family friend from a family back home in Poland. They got engaged. Sadly, his heart was broken when the engagement ended the following year and he was left bereaved and heartbroken. I would describe this nocturne as a love song, actually a love duet, because you can hear throughout most of the piece two distinct voices singing. Why singing? Because, as we've mentioned before in our Chopin tutorials, Chopin's great love was the opera and the singers of the day, and all of his beautiful melodies, you need to imagine that they are a singer's aria, and this is no exception. The two voices that tell the story of this nocturne sing of love, of life, of trials and tribulation, of ecstasy, of tragedy, of acceptance and resolution. This whole world gamut of emotion contained within these short 6 pages. Let's get to it. A little mention of the structure. We have an A-B structure. So we have an opening theme and then a counter theme. And in this piece, the opening theme and the counter theme, A and B, are repeated A, B, A, B, A, B, and then a coda. That'll become clear as we look through the music. So as we start in this light-filled key of D flat major that Chopin often writes his most beloved melodies. The Raindrop Prelude and Fantasy Impromptu. Very special key for him, light filled. With left hand's opening bar, the rippling accompanying arpeggio notes, the nocturne almost floats into existence. They give the feeling of no start, no finish, a perpetuum mobile that continues throughout the piece, almost representing the flow of life with no start and no finish. Almost a heavenly harp feeling. The bass note, the D flat, is very important. It's not a giveaway note. Feel it, it's weighted, and it's played with heart. The D flat forms, the low D flat forms a D flat pedal where the accompanying arpeggios and then right hand's melody both float above. And the first phrase, we feel as though we don't touch the ground. And here, right hand comes in with the singing line, with the operatic line. Crescendo and opening up as right hand moves up those intervals. The B flat has an accent. It It's a suspension, and it's going to resolve. A tiny resolution before we move on, until we reach another low D flat and a big suspension in the harmony. Right hand has almost a symbiotic balance between the falling notes of the melody and now rising, suspension, and now falling. And resolve. The accent on the A that enhances and shows us the suspension in the harmony. It's an accent of feeling. You need to feel the resolve. And so for the first 4 bars, we have our blissful D flat major harmony ready to change, a touch of real life in bar 5. The melody of the first 4 bars, or the first 4 bars, the D flat major, it's almost too perfect to be real. If this is a love story, this is total contentment. The introduction of a little bit of chromaticism here, that gives us a touch of real life. The diminished harmony here, almost a breathtaking moment as you resolve. Notice that for the full part of the first 2 lines, we keep the D flat pedal. So everything that happens above the pedal, the blissful D flat major, the suspensions, the resolutions, the introduction of chromaticism, the diminished harmonies and the resolves, they're all done floating above the D flat. So we can expect when the D flat moves, so on line 3 in bar 7, from D flat to C, the bass moves B flat, B double flat, A flat. You can expect something emotionally charged happening in the music. So let's just listen to that. In fact, let's start from here. So, if we look at bar 6 here, just as we're about to start moving, you may have noticed, so you have a crescendo here, I'll show you on the score. This is an in-breath, in tone, come in without a bump. We have an accecatura up to that G flat and the B double flat here, the suspension. So the sforzando, it's a feeling of it, it's an intensity. So it's an accent, yes, but it's an intensity of feeling accent. It's feel that whenever in this piece there are accents, sforzendos, louder dynamics, so your FFF and things like that, they're feeling dynamics. They're not just accent or play louder. You have to pull that feeling out of yourself, that intensity. They're intensity moments. So if you look through the first 3 lines, which represent section A, we open with our almost heavenly love song. are almost too perfect, floating love song introduction. Almost, if for a good image to create the blissful feeling of the music, imagine Chopin in a boat with his betrothed, a rowing boat, and they're floating along in a lake, and Maria is leaning back with her hands drifting in the water. Close your eyes and try and imagine this scene, and I'll play this. Could you imagine it? That's a lovely image to help you play the music. So an interesting thing just to notice from the start, whenever we have chromaticism in this piece, it's always a highly charged moment, full of emotion. It's often a transitionary feature. When I say transitionary, we'll see towards the end, the chromaticism almost makes the pair of lovers, the love duo, almost transitioning to heaven, where it becomes almost ethereal. Also, it represents almost a life struggle. So whenever you see the chromaticism, watch out for that. Let's play from bar 6. Remembering, we come in with that in-breath, down the way, and then balance, the symbiotic balance of the writing, the melodic writing. And then almost taking away from the intensity of the SF. After the grace notes, down the way, down the arpeggio, rising with a new kind of articulation. It's a weighted staccato, playing with the wrist for each note. And here we have almost one of Chopin's sighs. So for the sighs, look out through the music. Just in this phrase, I'll point out what I mean. Sigh. So we'll play the A section. Listen for the bass, D flat pedal, where we float above with our heavenly love song that's almost too perfect to believe. Watch out for the symbiotic relationship of the rising and falling, the rising steps or the falling steps, the rising intervals, the falling intervals. Somehow it's just so perfectly balanced. Remember, the right hand, the melody, is a singer. And the thing about singers, they feel every step, they feel every interval, and it makes a singer can't really sing unmusically. So we have to feel them doubly to play musically on the piano. Listen out for the chromaticism. Listen out for when there's a dynamic, an accent, an SF, a crescendo. These are emotional, they're emotional moments. Watch out for when the pedal D flat starts to move. This is life is starting to take over, particularly as left hand and the bass descends chromatically. Heavenly harp. to notice when A repeats, the section A repeats each time, it's always with a different, almost emotional life or iteration. Also, when A repeats over on bar 26, 27, 28, there are some features, the notes are the same the second time. So be really careful not to give away anything that's coming, because once you've played the entire piece, it's a little bit tempting to not keep the first playing of section A as a completely new thing that's just been given birth to. So it's really hard to not, in the second iteration of A, where you have the amazing inner voice of the chromatic rising steps. Don't give that away on page 1 in any way. Obviously the notes are slightly different, but the temptation is maybe to show inner voices. That would be a giveaway though. So keep the first A as like a baby that's been born, completely fresh, completely new, almost like a dream. Okay, let's go on to section B, and we move into B flat minor. This is, you clearly hear now the duet. You can hear two singers, can't you? Closer in thirds, more emotionally charged. Now, I would suggest, to get that feeling, to enhance that feeling, play with two hands. And then you really feel that it's a duet. Okay, so when we come to this section, this is almost like now, section 1, absolute bliss, tiny touches of life, but section B, life has struck. It's quite painful. It's a painful duet. Okay, so obviously the arpeggio figure keeps going, and we start off with a B flat pedal. Descends there, and then back to B flat, but on the last line, bar 12 and 13, it stays. Okay, so let's listen for the two parts: life, B flat minor, pedal bass. It's an in-breath. And then maybe this is the man asking, are you sure? Yes, we're sure. Again, asking, are you sure? To E flat minor. There's almost a feeling of unrequited love, a little bit of very light desperation. Asking, are you sure it's going to happen? Almost like a little bit of resignation as you descend, and then asking. And then together they're unified in their third. Big question. And then when you get almost like a variation of the start of section B. E flat minor, a warmer sound. It's almost like life has really struck our pair. Life, its ups and downs, its trials and tribulations. The question is enhanced, so question, are you sure? Is it really? Is that the truth? It's becoming more intense. Each phrase, each iteration is becoming more intense. So each iteration is becoming more intense, and the more we play through the piece, the more you can hear the conversational nature. Bar 16, the intensity in thirds, they're singing tightly together. So we've moved from our pedal E flat and we reach forte. So an emotional forte, an emotional impassionment, not just loud, a growth of emotion, emotional intensity. Okay, so look out for there's a lot of chromaticism, isn't there? More chromaticism as the intensity grows. We'll talk also obviously about the chromaticism for the transitionary nature that will come later on. So here the chromaticism here, which really has come from bar 8. But listen to the impassioned cry. Leading up to the forte, the lower of the two voices. Again, chromatic. Octaves, they're singing in unison. Yeah? Conversational nature now. Are you sure? It's a question, isn't it? A gentle question. Are you sure? Yes. Really, very sure. PP. Now this is one of our first transitionary phases and phrases. Very a great deal of chromaticism. Accent there within the PP here to feel the suspensions. So what I mean by the transitionary use of the chromaticism, here I'll play this whole phrase for you. As we descend chromatic steps in the PP, you can almost feel we're transitioning to another world. Could you hear that? Yeah. So there's a lovely inner voice, not to miss, in the transitionary phase. So in right hand. Back to section A for its second iteration. PP, you have your heavenly harp in left hand, pure, blissful D flat major. If you could imagine, if you know what crepuscular rays are, if you see a cloudy, a sort of blue and cloudy cumulus sky and the sun is streaming, but you see streams of golden sunlight coming through the clouds. That's called crepuscular rays. I think we could check that. And it almost, when you see it, you can often see it in paintings and stuff, but when you see it, I always say, oh, it looks like God's fingers shining through, God's fingertips shining through. This is almost the picture you could have for this. Bathed in golden sunlight. So our heavenly harp must have no bumps, no start, no finish. And on my score, I've written in this section, it's too heavenly to be real. This is the love theme. Total bliss. That we have in the second part of bar 28, vocal, it's just take a little time, blissful. And then an accent within the PP, but it's an accent to feel that suspension, that wrenching inside you. And now, always in Chopin, there's a lot of voices and linear writing, counterpoint. But here, he spells it out really clearly for us that left hand, bar 29, the D flat, the D and the E flat. I'll ring it on the score so you can see. So here is Chopin saying, yes, listen to the inner voice. And this is one of the singers. So maybe the lady is singing the too heavenly to be real love melody, and then the rising chromatic steps are there, almost the question again, are you sure, are you sure? And it resolves to bar 30, but finishing off with the E flat. So watch out for all steps that are like sighs, descending steps. The rising chromatic there, life struggle. The melody is becoming more ornamented, leggerissimo, as light as possible. And again, I know I've said the heavenly harp for this. It's barely there, it's certainly not earthly, never touches the ground. But for the right hand here, come to the second iteration of section B. And this is really special because our thirds are now sixths. And if you ever hear singers singing in thirds, the closer, right? And the sixth, just that little bit of distance, it opens up the heart. It's more carefree. It's more hopeful. It's a different emotional impact. So okay, and so we have that almost enharmonic change from where we started in, we're finished here in D flat major, and then the D flats are now C sharps, A major, and a very different feeling, dolce, a carefree feeling, a very loveful feeling that the pair have some respite from life struggles here. So really enjoy those sixths and the feeling of them. And now there's it's a lovely duet here. Again, playing two hands so you feel the duet. So the lower part has repeated notes, and then top part, lower part. So right, top part descends, then lower part ascends. And then they're closer together. It changes back to third. Startling what happens, slow drop. Very conversational. Lower part descends, upper part rises. So chromaticism rising. Don't build too soon like I just did. So we have our drop, the chromaticism rising with that crescendo there. Oh, it's getting very, very emotional, very emotionally charged. Listen to the tops and bottoms of the voices, yeah? What happens here. So just before the dramatic chromatic rise, halfway through bar 39, we have our first accent on the bass, and then so did you see that chromatic rising with the accents? Again, accent, but with it's the feeling intensity that drives how you play it. The SF there on the high G flat, it's feel that yearning intensity. And notice the first on bar 44, no accent on that C where we've got to the C natural. And to me, this is another drop moment in the building. So we're building all the way. And it's almost diminution. It's like as the SFs and the rising, it's coming quicker and it's coming quicker bar 44. So you feel that and move with it. The accents, body weight, not you have to put that behind it. The emotional impact comes from, you have to show it with the body weight. And then bar 45, accentless, no accents, almost goes from like this to hard to say in words. Okay, and we're back to iteration 3 of section A. So the fourth page, you need to see it through from start to finish. It's a process going all the way up to bar 46. Okay, so you mustn't build too soon. Each part grows organically from each other. And remember, accents, SFs, they're all emotional weight kind of things. Okay, so when we get to, oh yeah, did you notice in bar 45 when the triplets come in, when we lose any accents, it just has such a different feel, doesn't it? Anyway, third iteration of our love theme, FFF. Now, when do we ever see FFF? It's rare, isn't it? And to have FFF on a single note melody, you'd imagine more like FFF on some big fat Tchaikovsky chords or Grieg or some Rachmaninoff, FFF, but a single note melody. And our heavenly harp, and that is all we've got, okay? So this is full emotion, an emotional weight behind every note. This is the ultimate joy. Our section A, love theme, is bliss, almost unreal. And then we get it's too real to believe, yeah, when we have our second iteration, it's too heavenly to be real. This is earthly now, fully. The emotional intensity, it's absolute ultimate joy. Okay, let's go from C flat here, surprising and shocking to your heart. Wait, okay? So every note has your emotional weight behind it and your body's weight. Not your fingers, not your arms, it's from your body, okay? And it's ultimate bliss. I've heard, I can't remember, a couple of great pianists of the past, and what they even do is quite interesting. They add a low D flat on, which we aren't going to do, but let's hear how it sounded. That's a bit naughty, but you can hear why they did it. Okay, so we have our... And straight away, PP. So within 5 bars, we've gone from FFF to PP. Absolute magical wonderment. All above our D flat pedal, yeah, all the way from bar 46, we're still suspended, super suspended here. mean, not actually, but. So our third iteration of section A, we have our absolute, total, ultimate joy with our FF. We transition over that D flat pedal into PP. We are suspended above the earth. So I would say in this section we get our first actual glimpse of heaven. And we're back to live. So our third iteration of section B are love duets back together. They're in thirds, okay, con anima, so with sol. There is a feeling of resolution here. It's almost like they know the end is near. That's how I hear it. There's a little feeling of tragedy. And then they're saying it again. And we come to one of those indescribable moments. And I remember playing this the first time, I guess I was around 19 or 20. And when I played this line, I'd never played anything like it before. It's an utmost bliss. It's a feeling of being totally in love, and it's almost, it's indescribable. And Chopin does mark a passionata here, and this is the part. It's almost like everything has come together. The fruition of their love. It's a pure. It's like a total the coming together of the love story. So we have the con anima, E flat minor, con forza, so with force. We've lost our pedal bass, haven't we, here? And you feel the movement of our bass, because that's really important, isn't it? It's really special, because throughout the piece we've had so much of having that bass below us, that pedal bass below us, and almost working above it. It's like freedom here, freedom. Also, we're in sixths, which opens our heart. And again, a breaking free. So I would say this section here, it's almost like a mini coda within section B. It's freedom, it's pure, blissful in love, freedom, resolution and acceptance all in one. Okay, let's try and hear all of that. free, hasn't it? It's broken free. So many emotions. So bar 60, we've sort of have got our A flat pedal back here, haven't we? So everything's above that, but right hand, flourish, breaks through. Of the E flat in bar 61, feel as it moves on the inner voice. And that's almost like, it's almost a small goodbye there. And I would say from bar 62, it's a feeling of a coda. This, let's listen. Almost feel like it's in one breath. Dolcissimo. So what do you recognise straight away? The chromaticism in left hand. We're over a pedal D flat. Descending chromatically. So as we said, the chromaticism represents emotional charge, yearning, these kind of things, but also transition. And the coda is the transitionary phase to floating away into the ether at the end. And in right hand, sigh. First one pulls at your heartstrings. Can you imagine a singer? Descending chromatically. And then it changes. Let's listen to that first. One breath, no bumps. Now, here, the inner voice, one of our singers is saying, are you really sure? Is this really happening? Which we've heard that, I did say that a few times in their conversations, but we've had all of that descending, almost that descending, the right hand and left hand together, you know, they're resolved, they're doing it all together, aren't they? There's no struggle, but here, are you sure? And yeah, it's saying it's sure, because here we go. And what we have here is the same sigh. With the chromaticism sort of enhanced with the acciaccatura. But also, it really feels a little Brahmsy in this section for me. So you can see there in bar 69, the A flat is written in two parts, so the upper voice, the lower voice, and whereas the lower voice was asking a minute ago, are you sure? Now it's going to say acceptance. Okay, let's listen to acceptance. And we have our beautiful D flat bass. Listen to the lovely parts now. Now I call this on my score, I put a heavenly duet. Definitely play it in two hands to listen to the two people singing. tremolando dying away. There's no struggle here. We've accepted. Smorzando, dying away, dying away. So here that descending, sighing third in sixths, open-hearted sixths. And so the whole of the coda has D flat pedal beneath it. Yeah. So we'll listen to the whole thing in a minute. So the sixth. The last couple of lines literally don't breathe. Dolcissimo, getting quieter. Literally floating away together into heaven. The two singers together in sixths. A little bit of air, and it's our heavenly goodbye. So the coda, all with a D flat pedal. It's a really hypnotic feeling, really hypnotic. Are you sure? One of the singers doesn't want to accept their fate. If you're like me in small hands, you still have to feel the, even if that's a big distance, you still feel. So a little bit more, noticing the D flat pedal, acceptance, D flat, and our heavenly harp, left hand arpeggios, much more stretched out now. Heavenly goodbye. Almost like an amen, isn't it, at the end? So I hope that was interesting, and it's helped with your understanding and interpretation and given you some new ideas. Thank you for watching. I'll link here a tutorial to another of Chopin's Nocturnes. See you next time. Bye.